Hi, welcome to Soccer Nuggets. My name's Steve Franklin.
And I'm George Perry.
And we hope that you join us on our podcast as we explore ways to help you to develop, maybe inspire, and find ways as a player, a coach, or a parent to make your time with this game enjoyable. We look forward to having you join us. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Soccer Nuggets. Today, what we thought we would kind of toss your way are some nuggets in terms of the distribution of the ball. So, in other words, passing the soccer ball. We've talked about dribbling. We've talked about receiving and controlling. But now we're in a position where we might be able to penetrate via a pass, or we might be getting out pressure with the pass. George, what can you tell us, maybe a couple nuggets for either the player or the coach in terms of nuggets to think about when they're getting ready to pass the ball, and maybe even technique and how we pass?
Well, once as you've received the ball, you should already have been scanning and you've decided where you're going to go with your next touch, all right, after you've gotten that first controlling touch. And now I've decided I'm going to pass the ball. If we're working with our younger players, you can talk about surfaces that you use to make contact on the ball, but really for the really, really young kids, the 5 and 6 and 7s, we're not talking about using the inside of the foot. You're just making contact on a certain part of the ball. And typically you want that to be the middle of the ball as much.
They might not even know they passed the ball. I've heard you say before, does a 5, 6, 7-year-old even know what a pass is? No, they're dribbling because it's 1 against 7. Everybody else wants the toy. And they take a heavy touch and it makes its way to a teammate, and you instinctively say, nice pass.
Yep. And
the kid's like, huh? But over time, hearing that, oh, okay, that's what that action means. I'm playing the ball to a teammate.
Right. And so, it's important, again, to not be stationary when we teach these techniques. We want to get them in games, game-like activity. We want to get them moving. And you certainly – the fewer the players, the more repetitions, which is good. So you might not be playing 6v6. It'd be better to have 2 games of 3v3 or something like that. So that way they get more repetitions on the number of passes, the number of touches that they get on the ball, and they work it from there. But again, if we can make the activities very game-like to where there are goals of scoring or objectives of scoring, maybe more than goals, because
right.
It could still be going to a line like we did in our passing or our receiving activity, going to a target zone, going to target players, going to small goals, big goals. All of that is good. But for the most part, what we want to talk about is the coaching points that we have, again, in that Rolodex of information in our mind, that we're going to identify maybe one of those things that we can maybe help that player with to bring out, to make it a better skill.
Kenny Lola, who used to coach at the University of Louisville, before that Akron, I watched him in a training session one time, and the one thing that really resonated with me is I have possession of the ball. The quicker I can deliver this ball to you, maybe go FedEx instead of U.S. Postal Service, I'm allowing you maybe a half a second more time now to get that ball under control and decide the next best play for my team, and in particularly you with the ball. Do you want to dribble? Do you want to pass? So what are some nuggets that you can give me in that I want to play that ball to you quickly? Is there differences in whether you're 5 yards, 15 yards, 30 yards from me in the type of pass I make?
Absolutely. The tighter we are, typically it's going to be on the ground, and we're probably going to use the inside or the outside of our foot. So as I'm either going to pass this ball to you here, it's going to be slightly above center of the ball to keep that ball on the ground on my follow through.
So you're hitting it with your Adidas stripes.
With the stripes on that one.
Okay.
I may be using the outside of my foot to where I'm going to be here, right? My toe's going to be down a little bit, but it's still with the stripes on the outside.
Well, the nice thing about those two things, if you get your toe box pointed a little more towards me, you might even be able to tailor the ball so it has a little bit of spin.
Right.
And the same thing with the inside of the foot. You could
Well, and again, that's where it comes back to where the player makes contact in the ball and the follow-through they have. If I hit dead center on this ball and I follow through dead center, it's going to go straight. If I hit the ball slightly on the outside here and I get it to rotate this way, it's going to curve towards my left. If I were to use the outside of my right foot here and I hit the outside of the ball here, it's going to curve over to my right. And so we're going to set some things up. And so the more sophisticated a player is, the more they see, can I put this player into space? Okay. How much space do they have?
Let's talk about the mechanics. Your plant foot.
Okay. Plant foot,
upper body.
If I'm going to keep this ball on the ground, I'm going to put my plant foot right next to the ball, all right, in line with the ball. I'm going to be enough space so that I can have my passing foot slide right through and get it going.
So it's not
there.
tight.
I don't want to be here where I kick myself in the heel. And
I don't want it behind. We don't want it way in front.
And outside too far. But find that comfortable space to where I can do it. And again, if I'm going to be keeping that ball on the ground, I'm going to be hitting the top center of the ball, just a little bit above center, just to help keep that ball on the ground.
Yeah.
And things along those lines. And so that's the important part.
Because if you go too high, you might hit the top of it and put top spin and get it bouncing.
Yep. And the other part with the plant foot a lot of times is as you're making contact with this ball, your heel of your plant foot comes up and kind of you follow through and step through to the target that you're passing the ball to.
So it's almost like you're moving into a support position then if the player that you pass to has to knock it back.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Okay. And that'll also keep pace on my pass to you. And again, It comes back to your Kenny Lola point before is if I can get that ball to you faster, not uncontrollable, but faster, then it gives you more time to make decisions and execute what you want to do with the ball.
If I was going to hit the ball over distance now, 30 yards or more, where would our plant foot be then?
Our plant foot's going to be a little bit wider, okay? It's going to be a little bit wider from the ball, and we're going to be maybe slightly behind the ball a little bit because as I'm going to come through, I am going to come through the bottom half of the ball, just below center of this ball, and my follow-through might be a little bit higher coming through, but my follow-through is still going to go forward. I see too many times where I see players, as they hit the ball, they're stepping back after they hit that. And when you think about it, what really has to happen there, in order for me to step back, I have to have slowed down before I even hit the ball.
So you're losing all the momentum, all the weight behind the ball,
right? And
it's going to be kind of like a dead duck. It's almost like if you ran a 100-yard dash and you stopped at the finish line instead of running through it.
Absolutely. The other person's going to beat you there. So I want to follow through and I want to step forward and on my follow through and almost land on my passing foot in that type of situation.
So a short pass, 10 yards, 15 yards, plant foot next to the ball. If I want to go over distance, the foot now starts to slowly come behind and away from the ball to give you range to swing into the ball.
Right, because now, especially now, I'm coming here with my foot. I want to make sure that I have enough space to be able to do that. And again, it just allows me to use my hips a little bit more because when you're really talking about if you're trying to add pace or power to the ball, it's not just the swing of the legs. It's also the rotation of the hip that comes into play.
Let's get the ball, your foot back up there again. Now we know where the foot is in relation to the ball. Does this act as an aiming agent or a sight so that if you were to maybe point your foot this direction, what does it do to your hips and your upper body?
Yeah, you're just going to naturally rotate around. If you do that, if you stand straight and you put your foot up, your right foot down like this, pointed to the side, and if you put all your weight on your right foot and lift up your left foot, your body will automatically rotate around this way, and that's going to help my swing of my passing leg to go through the ball and be more accurate to where it's going to go.
All right, so any player, whether they're young or if they're older, you basically want to use your plant foot to be a target agent or a scope, if you may, on a hunting gun. I want to be able to line up my target where I want the ball to eventually go so that my mechanics of my upper body, my hips, everything rotates in the direction that I want the pass to go.
So the coaching points that we're looking for as coaches is players execute a pass. Again, whatever that pass is, on the ground, over distance, whatever, where is the plant foot, right? What is the surface of the actual striking foot? Which surface am I going to use? What is the follow-through? Okay, and the thing we haven't talked about yet is where is my head? Where are my arms with all this kind of stuff? Because you can't have your arms down by your side because then there's no balance. There's got to be follow through.
Okay, so where are your arms in your head?
Yeah, they're going to be following through. If I'm going to be hitting this with my left foot, this is my plant foot, my right foot. My right arm's going to go out in front of me first, and then I'm going to kind of follow around as I follow up on.
So if I'm going to hit a right-footed ball, my arm's going to come out from my rib cage a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
Get you outside. It keeps you balanced, keeps your follow through, and you get going third. Your head should be looking at the ball.
Okay.
You've already made your decision on where it's going to go. I've already decided where that's going to be. Now I'm going to focus. Am I hitting the center of the ball? Am I hitting the sides of the ball because I want it to bend? Whichever one you want it to do. But you find that spot on the ball. I mean, if they tell me that Major League Baseball players can see the seams on a baseball when it's coming at them 85, 90 miles an hour, there should be no reason why a soccer player can't see a spot on the ball that they're going to strike.
I could see the spot on the ball, but I couldn't hit a 50-mile-an-hour ball. So I stuck with soccer. One thing I did learn, if you could hold the ball for a second, one thing I did learn, I'm going to pivot my seat here a little bit. Dan King, a friend of ours that played soccer at IU, played some indoor, so on and so forth, he always told me when he taught his players in college and club, when he was going to hit a big driven ball, his plant foot slightly away from the ball, a little bit behind, but as he went to rotate the plant foot side, that arm would come away from the rib cage, and he would almost swing his arms so that it became a lever, if you may, and it swung the kicking foot into the ball. And then he could get the elevation if he did want to hit a long-driven ball. So with those arms in the upper body, sometimes this swinging away from the rib cage can help you get the hip placement into the ball, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And again, the follow-through is really important because especially if you want some pace on the ball, it is important that you follow through towards the targets. Every time you see a player step back with their first step after they've struck a ball, that means it's not being delivered. And especially if you're flighting balls to the far side, switching the ball, changing the point of attack, you want that ball to go on a rope because the longer it takes the ball to get there, the
more
quicker,
time I can get there into defensive position.
And you can keep me from doing anything with it. So it's really important. So we talk about –
all right, I got another scenario for you. You got the ball. Ball's here. I'm the defender, and you need to get that ball to the guy behind me maybe 5 yards away. What surface of the foot are you using? Or does it matter?
Well, I might just chip the ball over the top of you.
All right, picking on the short guys. Okay.
Yep. Well, if it's there, you take advantage of it.
All right.
That's all there is to it. And I just might do that where I'm just going to kind of go underneath the bottom half of the ball, really get underneath that.
Let your stud just dig into the ground.
And then my follow-through is going to be up.
Okay.
So I lift the ball almost in that type of situation so I can get up. And there the follow-through is usually shorter.
Okay.
Because it's just doing it like stabbing at the ball a little bit to kind of get it to pop up and get over the top.
I've always heard coaches say, don't use your toe box. Could you toe poke it by me? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's whatever surface you want. Whatever's going to get the ball there.
If the ball gets from A to B, you've picked the right surface. And especially with the youngest of kids, think about it. They're only this far off the ground, right? Whereas we're this far off the ground. They can see where the ball is. And so their toe is going to be used an awful lot, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Because in a pass, the ultimate purpose of the pass is to transition the ball from one player to another. In most cases, to penetrate, move the ball forward. In some cases, to play out of pressure so we can recirculate and then go forward. Okay?
So again, just to summarize a lot of the coaching points, which again, the things that we as coaches have in our Rolodex is identify what pass are we going to make. Second, where are we going to put our plant foot? What type of what surface am I going to use of my foot to make the pass? Where's the follow through going to go? All right, and those are the main thing. And then certainly keep your eye on the ball and let your arms kind of move naturally because more often than not they will do the right thing. There'll be a few times where you maybe have to really guide somebody on the arms and all that stuff, but for the most part, it'll go natural. To
kind of conclude this and everything, as my good friend Mike Freitag, he was always working with the young kids, teaching them how to get the ball off the ground and everything. Is there anything wrong with playing balls and playing crossbar challenge? Does that help?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any kind of a challenge, any kind of a game is great to use. Different. I used to also do it. We'd stand straight in front of the goalpost, and could we bend it into the side netting of that same goalpost? Okay, and you'd have to do it. So working on how to bend balls and make some things happen. So any of those kind of challenges just stokes the competitive instincts in all of us. And these are things that kids can do completely by themselves. They don't have to have anybody around. And the bottom line is the more you hit the goalpost, the crossbar, the less you have to chase it.
That's true.
Because it comes back to you.
Bet you can't do that.
Now?
I bet you can. Probably the best couple of words you can say to a kid if you really want them to work on the actual technique of passing a ball. Bet you can't do it. The good kids are going to go home and practice. So,
absolutely.
In summary, what can you tell me about the pass? Maybe 2 nuggets?
I would say the weight of the pass is really important because we want to give a player something they can do something with.
Okay.
All right. And the other part is how quickly can you get that pass off of your feet to give them more time to do something with it.
And it doesn't allow me the time as a defensive player to get into that passing line, that line between, or the ball line between you and your intended target. So that'll do it for today. There's some nuggets for you in terms of your distribution, your ability to pass. Looking forward to presenting some more stuff to you on Soccer Nuggets. Have a great day.